Good evening, everybody. We're just going to give it 30 more seconds to a minute, just to allow everybody to jump on real quick. And then we'll get started. Hopefully, I don't have to take up too much of your time. But I want to make sure everybody gets all the info needed. All right. So, evening again. We're gonna get going here. I apologize for the first couple minutes. I am trying to run the meeting and do the waiting room, and trying to navigate the slides and everything else in between. So, bear with me. Hopefully, everybody's jumping on now. So the beginning will be. I might look a little distracted. So I apologize if that's the case. So this is for U8 Academy parents and families for the upcoming season. So if you are not one of those families, you're in the wrong meeting. So jump off. But everybody that's on here hopefully is in the program and ready to get going for the season. So a quick agenda for the evening. We'll do I'll introduce myself. I'll show you some of the club pathways. This isn't going to be a boring just an information what you can and cannot do. I will show you things that we will do with your kids on the field, and how we will hopefully make them better over the next 4 months, for some of you, and for those that have signed up for the entire year, for the next 10 months. So hopefully I can provide you some background over our age group objectives, club pathway, and what we look for when we're at training and on game day. Thrown in between that will be a couple of things for the parents, like uniforms and where to be and when to be, at which field. So my name is Darren Patricio. I am the Director of Player Development for Loudoun Soccer. Everything in those little boxes is kind of what I have done in terms of licenses. If you know nothing about soccer licenses, the best way that I can put it is anyone that you see on our coaches list that has an A license, they have basically done their masters. It's the equivalent of doing your masters at university. And pro licenses is doing your doctorate, and then obviously B, C, there's and D, there's different levels to it. So that's what you'll see in terms of that. I am from South Africa, in case you were wondering where the accent's from. I have been with Loudoun Soccer for almost 7 years, or just over 7 years right now. So I took over this role about 2 years ago, and I've been with the U8s for the last 4 years in total. Enough about me. You'll hear me a lot when we're on the field, so you'll know exactly who I am. I am loud and demanding of players when they're on the field. So a quick breakdown of every program and level within the club. We have our recreational program, which technically, when you look for the registration, the U8 Academy program is in the rec program. We do not treat U8 Academy program players as recreational players any longer. We treat them as travel players. So they are more geared toward, as it's listed, as the pre-travel groups, but we do not treat them like rec players. There are no snacks. There are no requests. There is nothing like that. They are treated as travel players. So technically we should put them in that bracket, but because of the timing of the seasons being fall and spring, usually we break it into the recreational program. We then have our travel program, where our teams play in NCSL, which is a league, or ECNL, RL, and then our elite programs play in the ECNL program, which is only for U13s and above. So you all have a long way to go with these particular kids until you need to worry about that. The U8s, as you can see, in our club framework, we do list them under the travel banner within our growth phases. So these players are in foundation phase right now, which is we're just teaching them the basics of the game and how to play within some kind of system and shape, which we will get to a little bit later on. But as you can see, they are bracketed within the U9 and U10 travel age groups. We have 5 phases within our club, and players from our preschool in the rec program all the way to our U19 ECNL players. There is something for everybody, and the focus areas are very similar. We just add to it. So what we expect of our U19s, we obviously do not expect of our 7 and 8-year-olds. So there are different focus areas and different ways to coach those kids, obviously. But the 3 main focus areas run throughout the club, which is technique, awareness, and communication. Okay, off the bat, uniforms. If you have not ordered your uniform, it ain't coming in time. Sorry. If you're a travel family, you will know how long it's been since you ordered your uniform. If you have it, great. But if you have not ordered your uniform, you will not have it probably for another month, which means you're in big trouble. So get on it as quick as you can. One thing you will know, the players will learn quickly, is I am very particular about how we look on the field. So uniform is a big deal to me. So if you have ordered your uniform, it should be here on time. If you have not, get onto that website, get onto that link that I sent you, and please order it as quick as you can. For practices, players will wear black socks, black shorts, and that looks like a white shirt, but it is gray, I promise. It's just a really light gray. On game days, we will wear black socks, black shorts, and the red shirt. Those 4 items are mandatory within your once you order. It's packaged together, so that should be nice and easy. There is an option then for a backpack, which I haven't put on here, because honestly, I don't think the U8 players need a backpack, because I guarantee you on the first day, someone will go home with someone else's backpack. So don't buy it. Just water and a ball is good enough on training days. But as it starts to get colder, they have the option of the pants and the quarter zip as well. I know that the $150 price tag may have thrown. I've had 2 families that have dropped out because of that. You will have this uniform for 2 years, regardless of where you play. So if you are currently a 2016, this is the same uniform that our travel players wear. So you will wear this uniform next year. So you've saved yourself a ton of money going into next year. If you choose to buy a new one because your kid has grown, that's up to you. But this is a 2-year cycle within this uniform. Before, the U8s wore a rec uniform, and I absolutely did not like it, because then we looked like recreational players playing travel soccer. And it made me tingle every time I used to coach my team in it. So we have turned the U8 program, and they will wear travel uniforms. So you have this for 2 years, including the sweatshirt and the pants, because I believe the quarter zip is mandatory on the travel in the travel package once you get there next year or in 2 years' time. So get on your uniform if you have not ordered it already. All our communication will go through Team Snap. I will add everybody in there probably tomorrow or Friday. You will get a Team Snap alert. I will not add everybody. I will add the main user of your account. It is up to you. Then you can add as many family members as you want. So if you want to add Granny and Grandpa and Uncle Tim and Auntie, add them. If they want to come and watch soccer, add them to your Team Snap. But I will say, every time we do send an email out or an alert, everybody will get that email. So if they drop off at any point, then they stop getting the communication. You'll be able to see the full schedule in there, which will get loaded as soon as we add all the players. And you'll have a dashboard where you can see your events and a calendar. You can also you can upload it into your, if you have an iPhone, you can upload it into your calendar or into your work calendar, like every other calendar I'm sure that you use for school and everything else for your kids. So it's easy to use. This is what we use on the travel side. So this, if you plan on being a travel soccer player, this will be what you use for the next 14 years, unless something changes and we decide to go somewhere else. So this is what all our teams use. So get comfortable using it, and everything goes through TeamSnap. I will say we will not use the chat at all. I have removed, number one, because on the boys side, you'll see there's almost 60 players. It is not possible for us to split it up, and there's no way for us to completely turn it off. I will mute the chat, and I have removed parents before because they did not understand that rule. So please don't use the team chat. You can send me. There's a way to make a little group with me and you, and I'm happy to answer those if you have a question in there. Otherwise, just email me. But nothing will get done through the team chat. And again, I have removed parents from the 2 parents. We've used it, but only 2 parents. But we have removed them. I promise there is a grace period. I won't just remove you straight away. But please don't use the chat. Another reason is because I'm already on 16 team chats and team snaps within the teams and the age groups that I coach. And I can't manage all of the chats that go on. So I only have the chats on for my 2 teams that I coach full time. So please don't use the chat, but TeamSnap will be what you get. Look out for an email if you are the main user of the your Sports Connect account. Right, into the program. We're in our 12th year currently. We will move in. It was created to better prepare our players for travel soccer. We saw there was a gap 12 years ago, and we've closed that gap. Obviously, we are one of the most successful clubs within Northern Virginia, and that is because of the U8 program and the players that we produce going into travel soccer. And it is that bridge between Rec 1, which is first and second grade, and our U9 travel teams. It's organized by birth year. We have expanded that since last year to now incorporate 2 age groups. We used to do a U7, so the current 2017s would not have been eligible for U8 Academy. They only had 1 day of training before. We didn't see the point of that anymore, and we now combine. So instead of players only getting 1 year of U8s, you now have the opportunity to have 2 full years of U8 Academy soccer, which we think is more beneficial to the players, because you are around professional coaches, you're around like-minded players and good players, and there is a dedicated training environment twice a week where we are able to push the players in a certain way to make sure that we are on the right track for when we get to U9. So currently, there's a big difference in the numbers there. There are 28 girls on in the program, plus 6 that are playing on the academy team. There will be 3 full-time dedicated coaches to the girls' side, who I'll run through in a minute. So I know groups of 9 doesn't add up to 28, but there's always someone missing or something happens. So it'll be more or less groups of 9. If everybody shows up, which we hope everybody will show up every Monday, every Wednesday, 1 group will just be a group of 10. The boys will have 52 players within the program, plus 11 that are playing on the academy team. They will have 5 dedicated coaches within those 52 players. And I know 10 groups of 5 doesn't equal 52. So 2 groups will have 11 if everybody's at training, which is the hope. I'm sure some of you are thinking why there's a difference in the girls and boys numbers. We found that first grade girls especially, they want to keep playing with their friends for an extra bit of time until really U11. So our girls numbers are always lower than the boys numbers, I will say it's a little lower than usual, but this is the first time we have a U8 team playing a full year of travel soccer. We haven't done that before. So there have been players that have been pulled out of the academy program to go and play travel soccer for an entire year on both the girls and the boys side. So for our coaches, I know some of them are up on this call right now, but these 5 will be the friendly faces that you see every Monday and every Wednesday. So Coach Phil, Coach Drooper, and Coach Scott will be with the girls and the boys. All 3 of them work with me in the U9 and U10 age groups. So they know what the players need. They know what we are looking for. They know how to coach those players. And they've also all been in the U8 Academy program for a number of years and a number of seasons. Coach Graham, he will be with the U8 Academy girls team. So they will train on Mondays with us as usual. But on Wednesdays, they will go to a travel training, which is called TA, and then they do an extra. That's their extra session, and their second session is on a Thursday. So they will have three days of training. There will be some Mondays where we push some girls into Coach Graham's training session if we feel that they need to be pushed and they need to a little bit of an extra nudge for their development. That won't be every week. It won't be every session. It won't be every player. But you will know if your child will be training with Coach Graham and the girls. Coach Marco will be, and then Coach Graham and Coach Marco will join us for the boys sessions. So we'll have those 5 with us on the field. Again, Coach Marco coaches with all of us in the U9 and 10 age groups. So again, he knows what he's looking for. He knows how to coach it. He knows what he needs to do to get the players ready. Some additional staff that you will see on the field. Coach Pat, I'm going to start at the bottom here. Coach Pat, he is the boys coach for the U8 Academy team. So he will be on the field on Mondays with the group, with all the coaches. So we will have 6 groups going essentially on the field. Again, if we feel like some boys need to be pushed up and challenged, we'll push them into a session. It doesn't mean you're part of the team, but just on those Mondays, again, their training will be on Thursdays and with age group training with the U9 boys, and then the Wednesday session with TA. So they won't be with us on Wednesdays at a different location. And then Coach Chris, he is our director of coaching for U9s and 12s. So he will come onto the field. He will periodically come and run some sessions for certain groups. And he will be with us not every week, not every session, but when you see him, that's who he is. And Coach Henry is the U9 and U10 girls lead coach. So again, when he's available, he will come onto the field and be with us to help us with some sessions. Some important dates that we'll run through. So we begin next week, Wednesday. We don't begin on Monday because it's the first day of the travel season, essentially. And it's also most of our coaches are playing in a tournament this weekend. So we decided to give them that Monday off, but we will come out on Wednesday next week. The following Monday, the 28th, is picture day. Again, everything will get uploaded into TeamSnap. We will wear our red shirts on that day. So it'll be the only training session where we get to wear our red shirts. We'll take a nice big team photo, individual photos and team photos. Information will be sent out about that. September 4th, we're off because of Labor Day. Enjoy the long weekend. And then first game day on September 9th, we're ready to go. We will have a home and away series against a local club, VSA, who are from Haymarket. We have done this for the last 5 seasons. It's really successful. It's fun. The kids get to play against different opposition and different players. There's kind of a rotation that happens if you're new to the program, and we have fun. So we'll go there on September 30th. They will come to us on October 14th. On October 6th, we will have our game day on Friday night, not Saturday, mainly because it is a big tournament weekend, so our coaches are busy, but also it's fun to train under the lights and play under the lights for the kids on game day. They get it really excited when we have our competition nights. There's a lot of excitement, so we have now decided to incorporate the Friday nights into game days, and we will end on a Friday night as well, where we'll do Friday night lights for our final game day for the players. Again, everything will get uploaded into TeamSnap. So this is just a sample week of what it would look like. Mondays and Wednesdays are our training sessions. Majority of games on a Saturday. The session gets broken down into 4 blocks, really. So the players will arrive. We will throw them into some kind of game. It'll either be, we call it a rondo. It's just a big keep away game. So it could be 4 players against 1 player in kind of a 12 by 12 square. Or they'll play 3v3 or 4v4 or some kind of game that allows the players that are stuck in traffic or they're a little late to get to the session on time, and we can just get the players moving. We will then go into our spotlight activity, which is usually some kind of ball mastery, which is just a fancy word for or fancy phrase for saying making the kids comfortable with the ball. We'll do some dribbling activities. Maybe we'll do a passing activity. We might do a little dribbling and shooting activity. It depends what the topic of the week is and what each coach decides they want to do. Then we'll go into our spotlight game, which will be kind of a smaller game, more like a 2v1, 2v2, or 3v2 game. We like to play numbers up games so that it gets the players, number one, it allows the players to be successful in every moment that we put them in, but it also allows them to think. So when there are 3 players against 2 and the 3 have the ball, the player that has the ball has to decide whether they want to dribble or whether they want to pass, right? So it's just making them think about different options. And then we end every session with a game, some kind of game, whether it's a 3v3, 4v4 game. Every week we'll have a topic. We don't necessarily share that with everybody, but the training sessions for each coach may look a little different depending on the group and what's needed. The players will be tiered by groups so that we have players challenged and playing against players that are of a similar level. We may combine the groups at some point. We may rotate the groups with coaches, but we also want the players to become familiar with who they are working with, the message that is given, and the activities that each coach likes to do. It's hard. We used to rotate the players every 2 weeks amongst the coaches. It becomes really difficult because now in week 3, the coach is getting to learn the player and try and figure out what they're good at. Whereas if we can keep them with the same coach for the majority of the season, it allows that coach to hone in on the skills and push players in a certain direction. Players will get moved. We'll have the chance to move up and down within the groups. If we see someone that's really excelling, we will push them up into a higher group if needed. And if we see someone that's struggling for a week or 2, we might ask them to go back down. Keep in mind, just because we ask your child to move back down doesn't mean we think they're a bad player. It just means that they're 7 or 6 years old, right? Things happen. Things happen at school. Maybe kindergarten was tough this week. Maybe there was tests at school this week. Things are always going on. Maybe they're going through a growth spurt. So it just allows, we want players to be in an environment where they are able to see success, and you are able to see success in every moment of the game. Yeah, just players will move every week. At least 1 player will move, which means 2 players will move, 1 up, 1 down. Don't read too much into it. It is what it is right now for what we're looking for from each player. If you cannot be at training in TeamSnap, there is an availability button. Everybody will automatically be marked as yes. It is up to you to mark yourself as no. It is as simple as clicking on the app and just pushing the red X, right? And we will then look, and I can then tell the coaches who's going to be there, someone missing from their group. Again, reminder, gray jerseys for practice and red for game day. Size 3 soccer ball. That's really important. We don't want balls that are too big, right? Size 4, size 5, which are usually what you can find at Dick's Sporting Goods. Those are the wrong size. It's too big for their feet. It means they can't dribble, they can't do step overs, they can't do all the fancy footwork that Lionel Messi does for Inter Miami. So size 3, perfect size, and lots of water. There'll be possible training opportunities with U8 Academy team, and we're working on, if you don't know, our ECNL teams. We are known as the Northern Virginia Alliance, which is a group of clubs with us, Virginia Bella and Great Falls, and we're working on a little an extra game day for the players. Once we finalize that, we'll get that out to everybody, but it'll be a fun little festival with the partner clubs. So within the foundation phase, we have 4 objectives that we're looking for, right? Technical objectives, character objectives, game concepts. Those are the 3 main ones. Physical objectives, we do not touch on. That'll come as the players start to grow into the technical objectives that we lay out, and we can then teach them about speed of play and the speed in which they need to move once they find space. Character objectives are really big. We want good kids, we want good families. I think I've put together a really good staff, which everybody will love. So we ask the same of the kids and the parents, and then the game concepts we'll go through in a couple slides over here, and what we look for while we're on the field. Right, so within our technical objectives, again, we work on every single session. We'll incorporate some kind of ball mastery. Again, fancy word for saying getting comfortable with the ball. Then we will have one of those 4 as our topic: dribbling and disguise, which is just kids moving with the ball, trying to beat a player 1v1. We'll do some kind of passing, receiving. We will have ball striking, which is just hitting passes and shooting from longer distances, and then scoring goals, right? Because that's why every single player on earth wants to play soccer. That's why they start. They want to score goals. So we will always do ball mastery, and then our topic will be one of the 4 within those technical objectives. Within the game concepts, you will see some small-sided games, which will be our 1v1, 2v1, 2v2 games. You'll see progression games where we want to get from one side of the field to the other. We call that playing out of the back. So how do we get the ball from our goal that we're defending to the other goal? Not necessarily as quick as we can, but as effectively as we can. We want to unbalance the other team. That's us getting the ball from one side of the field to the other, so from left to right. We will ask the players, if there's one thing probably that you will hear the coaches say the most is, where is your diamond? Find your diamond. And that's all. A nice big diamond it allows us to unbalance the team and get the ball from right to left or left to right. The hope is that the player that receives the ball on the opposite side of the field has space to run into, which then creates a finishing chance, which is number 4. And then as the weeks go on, we want to see some kind of game intelligence where hopefully the coaches don't have to talk too much and the players can almost do it on their own. So on game day, we will play a lot of 4v4 games on Saturdays, especially on the girls' side because of the numbers. The boys might play some 5v5 if everybody's around on the weekend. But all we're looking for right there is the technique. The awareness will come, and that's just knowing how to create your big diamond and the shape within the field. So that's what we'll look like. We always have one defender, one striker, one player on the left, and one player on the right. And how do we keep that diamond in every chance we get? When we have the ball, we want to make the field as big as possible, so make the diamond big. And when we don't have the ball, we want to make the diamond a little bit smaller so that the players have to go around us instead of through us. When we play against each other, it becomes really difficult because the players all know each other and they know what we're asking. But when we play against VSA, it's fun to watch because they coach their kids slightly differently than we do. So it's always fun to see how the difference between the groups. If we play 5v5, we will add a goalkeeper, which means the goals will be slightly bigger. In the 4v4 games, we will play with the small micro goals that you've seen with the blue nets. But if we play 5v5, we'll add a goalkeeper. The goal will be what the U9s and U10s use, so it will be too big for your 7-year-old. I promise. It is intended that way, not because we want to make the goalkeeper struggle, but because we want to see the players score goals. So the scores will end up 15 all by the end of the session, and that is exactly what we want, because it means that players have been successful and they've been able to score goals, which is what they want. Every player on every single weekend will play all the positions. There is no coming to us and going, I don't want to be a goalkeeper. If we're playing with the goalkeeper, sorry, buddy, it's your chance to go in the goal. Everybody will play as a defender on the left, on the right, and up top. Everybody will always want to be the striker. But everybody will rotate. We do that. I coach U9 and 10 boys. I do that with all of the players the majority of the time. There are very few players within my two teams that only play in one position. So when we're on the field, there are 4 moments to the game. We attack, we defend. There is transition from defending to attacking. So once we win the ball, we want to go forward, and there's transition from attack to defense. So, and when we have the ball and we lose it, how quickly we can get behind the ball. In U8s, you will see only transition games, because they will run up the field and lose the ball, and everybody will run back and try and get it back, and then they'll lose it and go. So the game will go up and down, up and down, up and down. There is, at no point do we expect one group of players to pass the ball around and keep it away from the other team, at least for more than 6 passes, right? We will ask them to do it in training when they're only playing against one, but when it's 4v4 or 5v5, the expectation is not for them to keep the ball. The expectation is to create space and go and score a goal. Right. So how quickly can we do that? So the game will go up and down for 40 minutes to 45 minutes. When we have the ball, we want to pass. We want to keep the ball, obviously, first. So the first pass is really important. So we have to be able to pass the ball and receive the ball. You will hear us talk about playing with your back foot. So if the ball comes from the left, your back foot would be your right foot. If it goes across the field, receives, you can go forward. We want to keep the ball going forward and going backwards. We want to break lines, which just means how can our defender get the ball to our striker without the 2 guys on the outside, or 2 players on the outside getting it. So we've broken the midfield line. We want to see that'll come with the game intelligence, and where players can move to, and which players can play that pass, and which players can make a run when they're playing as the striker to find a little bit of space. We want to unbalance, and we unbalance by dribbling, which is beating a player 1v1, run with the ball, which is just running into open space, or combining, which again we'll work on 2v1 games within the training session. And then we want to finish when we get the chance. So ball striking, we want to hit the back of the net. It'll take some time for us to teach that and for the players to be comfortable with that. And there will be a million breakaways, which means it'll be player right in front of the goal. And I guarantee you the first time we see it, the player will miss the goal. That's okay. It happens. But that's what we will see on game day. When the other team has the ball, as quick as we can, we want to, like I mentioned, we want to keep the diamond a little bit smaller. So we don't want the other team passing the ball from their defender to their striker. So how do our 2 midfielders kind of block that space a little bit? We want to press to win the ball back, which just means put pressure on the player. The closest player on our team puts pressure on the player that has the ball that's closest to them. So press to it. We don't say press very often, but in our entire at U8, but in our entire framework, we do use that. So it's just a fancy way of saying the closest player puts pressure on the player with the ball. And we want to support. We want 2v1s when we have the ball, but we want to create 2v1s when we don't have the ball as well. So how do we win the ball back? With two players, that means someone's open. So it means we have to work together and just block those penetrating, block those lines from one player to the other. And we want to stay compact, so keeping that diamond nice and small. Right, so I am your only avenue of communication. You will not have access to the coach, that besides if you talk to them on the field. But I keep all the notes. They give everything to me. I am the person that handles everything. They have their own actual teams that they have to deal with day to day. This is them giving back and helping the program. So I am your point of communication for everything. If you're missing any training, if something comes up, let me know. If you have any kind of issue, say on game day, you feel something didn't go the way that you see it, take a breather, give it 24 hours, and then we can try and figure out on Monday. Don't come to me straight after a game. Don't go to your coach straight after a game. I promise you, we will not have a conversation right then and there. So just take some time, breathe, get back, and then on Monday we can, if it still bothers you as much as it did on Saturday morning, we can definitely have a conversation. I'm always open to having a conversation, and we'll do that face to face or over the phone. We won't do it through email. Playing time will be as equal as possible. We play quarters usually in the fall, so 10-minute quarters, so it's easy for the players to rotate. But sometimes things happen, right? Kids get hurt, kids don't feel well, something may come up, they're struggling on the day. But generally everybody will play a similar amount of time on each weekend. Trust the process. This is a long process. Your kids are very young, so we will demand things of them, obviously, but we know that we're not making the next professional player coming out of this program next week, right? So it takes time. All the players are on a different journey. They're all different ages. There is a 2-year gap between some of them. There could be. Essentially, if you're born at the end of December of 2017 or the beginning of January of 2016, 2 years is an extremely big difference at this age. So give it some time. But again, we choose the groups and pick the players based on what we think that they can do. And our success rate is good. So trust that we're able to produce and give your players the best possible chance of being a successful travel player when it's their time. Goals for the parents: encourage your player to compete against themselves every single day. We will ask them to get better every single session. So hopefully you're asking them to get better, and hopefully they want to get better every single session. The sessions will get harder and harder because of the amount of time that we have with the players, and what we see, and what our curriculum will look like, and what the demands are. So things will get more difficult. There will be a week where your kid struggles. Maybe we're doing a possession week, and they're not very good at keeping the ball, but they're a really good dribbler. It's okay. We know that. So just give it some time. We don't keep score at U8s, and so we don't judge the players on wins and losses, and neither should you. The players will always know the score. They always will figure it out. But we don't keep score at all. And don't coach from the sideline, please. We have professional coaches. This is their job for some of them. So they are good at what they do. Let them do it. Obviously, like we said in the first, but they encourage your players as much as they can. But sometimes the coach might have a conversation with the player, and they're asking them to do one thing, and you're yelling something completely different, and the player will obviously listen to you because you're the parent, right? So just encourage them and let the coaches coach. So this is what goes through a mind of a player when they're running with the ball, right? There's one player you can see there, 2v1, so the defenders have done a great job. But she's wondering, why are there 3 players around? Where's another white shirt? Where's the open space? There's a million things going through her head. And just because the coaches are quiet doesn't mean we're not coaching. It just means that we're giving them a chance to try and figure out the problem on their own. So we don't need parents yelling, telling them what to do and when to shoot and how to shoot. Let them figure it out. I promise you, your kids know. Well, you know it, but your kids know more than we think they do. So let them figure it out. Uniforms. Our uniform supplier is Adidas, so we only expect Adidas when we're wearing on the field. When we're on the field, wear the correct color schemes. So reminder: gray for training and red for game days, except on that picture day. But again, Team Snap will be updated. Be early for training. We don't need you there 30 minutes early, but try and be there 5-10 minutes. The coaches will all be on the field usually by 4:30 for the girls, which means that they're there for the boys, obviously. So try and be early. Everything will be set up and ready once the first player arrives. Email me if you have any conflicts and you know that you're missing an extended period of time. Otherwise, just mark it off in Team Snap for me. There is a way to make a little note when you make that little X. So feel free to put the note in there, so that when I download the week and the calendar, the coaches then they have an idea. We will rotate positions throughout the season. Again, these are just reminders. We do not judge the players on wins and losses. We will push your kids beyond their limits and what they think they are capable of, which is probably what you think they are capable of. They are better than you think. They are better than what we think. So we will make sure that we try and figure that out. And if we can't, then we will do something a little different until we can. The coaches are good at what they do. I know it says there that we subsidize the program. Trust me, we push a lot of resources from other programs into this one so that we get the coaches of the caliber that we expect, and what you expect for basically a full-time commitment. So we push resources and other coaches into the program with the best coaches from our travel staff. And within the right age groups, right? So all those coaches coach within the U9 and U10 age groups. Again, they know what they're looking for. They know what to expect of the players. So they are the best at what they do. And then for us to create and implement an age-appropriate curriculum for your players, so that, again, we can see success as many times as possible. Everything we do, we want to see them be successful. We will never do something to make them struggle, even though it may look like it, because one session it's all going to come together, and everything will click, which is what we are looking for. Right, that's me done. Any questions? Anybody? Got a couple minutes.
I have a quick question. I see that this is being recorded. My husband just got to the meeting. Is there a way that I can share the recording with him?
Yep, it'll get shared with everybody, along with the slides.
Cool, thank you.
Hey, I have a question. So my daughter got, it says that it's full year, but will I see a full calendar of the year, like for 10 months? I can see only like a fall season.
You'll only see the fall season for now. When it's time for the spring season, we will update the calendar for everybody.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, because I just saw it's full year, so just want to make sure I register for the full year, not just for the season.
Yep, we'll focus on the fall first, and then the winter, and then the spring.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Hey, Coach Derek. So practices start on Wednesday, I think you said, but what time? I missed the time.
5 o'clock for the girls, 6 o'clock for the boys. Everything will get uploaded into Team Snap if you haven't seen the. But all the information's on the U8 Academy page on the Loud Soccer website. and in the confirmation emails that you all should have received when you registered.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Coach, are the teams playing each other? So they're going to be in different groups, or how does that work?
On game days when we are not listed playing against another club, the players will play within their training groups from the week. So the coaches will split them up, and the players will play.
Okay, and that's going to be at Loudon Soccer Park, or where
On most weekends, yes. But again, everything will get uploaded into TeamSnap.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Do we know when uniforms are going to ship? I ordered a month ago and haven't received any more information.
You can check with the customer service from Soccer Post. Unfortunately, we don't handle the shipping of the uniforms, or the uniforms at all, actually. So yeah, get in touch with them. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're kind of in the same boat. We ordered about a month ago and got the order confirmation, but it hasn't been shipped, or we haven't received shipping.
Yep, guys. And we've had to put through about 1,700 travel players uniforms and this program and the rec program. So with the change of vendor, there's obviously been a couple delays, but I know that things are moving as fast as they can. So get in touch with Soccer Post, check that email, the confirmation email. There should be a phone number and a customer service email address. But unfortunately, I have no info other than that.
Darren, with that being said, the people that have ordered their uniforms and don't have them yet because of the lack of the availability of shipment, what are they gonna wear on Wednesday? Are they allowed to be wearing like the rec program uniform?
Let's hope that everyone ordered in time will get their uniforms. I'm not gonna go through hypotheticals. I will provide updates if they're needed.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, I appreciate everybody's time. Again, I'll look out if you're the main user on your Sports Connect account, you'll get a TeamSnap alert. Accept it. It's not spam. So go in there, and then again, you can add as many family members as you want to, and then the schedule will get uploaded once we send that out. So everybody, I know the coaches are excited to get going. The summer's always it's a lengthy break for them, so they're ready to get back onto the field, meet some new faces, get to see the kids that were in the program before in the spring. So everybody's ready to get going. Again, I will share the recording and the slides with everybody. But other than that, we will see you Wednesday at Hanson Park, and then Mondays are at Loudon Soccer Park. Right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.